Hello again, and welcome to Reading with Miss Tolliver. Today, I will be reading a book that is entitled Rosie and the Rustlers. This book was written by Roy Gerrard. Where the mountains meet the prairie, where the men were wild and hairy, there's a little ranch where Rosie Jones is boss. It's a place that's neat and cozy, and the boys employed by Rosie work extremely hard to stop her getting cross. Next to Rosie is Fancy Dan. On his left is Salad Sam, One Leg Smith, and Singing Sid and Mad McGee. And then there's Utah Jim, who looks nice but rather dim. Quite a decent bunch of boys they seem to be. In the saddle every day, well, they sure do earn their pay, doing wrangling and lassoing and such stuff. When it's windy or it's raining, you won't hear the boys complaining, for the life they lead makes cowboys pretty tough. When their hard day's work is done and it's time to save and have fun, they all gather in the bunkhouse for the night. Sam whips up some lovely salads. Sydney sings them charming ballads, and they serenade till turning out the light. On the day they went to see their dear friends, the Cherokee, they left Mad McGee behind to guard the cattle. Though they went without a care, there was trouble in the air, which involved McGee in something of a battle. For the outlaw Greasy Ben and his roughly men soon came galloping along to Rosie's place. They were sinister and seedy, good for nothing, grim and greedy, and their manners were a positive disgrace. The moment they detected that the ranch was ill protected, they took out their guns and shot at Mad McGee. And although their bullets missed, he was powerless to resist. So he did the prudent thing, which was to flee. There were scenes of consternation and of outrage and indignation when they heard McGee describe what had occurred. Then they galloped home at speed so that Ben should not succeed in escaping to the mountains with their herds. They arrived home just in time to prevent the wicked crime, and the frightened outlaws fled across the plain. They had saved the herd, it's true, and yet Rosie really knew that the gang had tried to steal their steers again. Hawkeye John, the Indian chief, said he'd help them track the thief, and his braves would guard the ranch while they were gone. So they set off there and then, on the trail to Greasy Bend, and their hazardous adventure was begun. They pursued them night and day to the mountains far away, as they followed tracks that John alone could see, till at last they thought it best to pitch camp and have a rest. So they stopped and ate a buffalo for tea. Having spent a restful night, they all woke up feeling bright. Though the ground was hard and lumpy, to be sure, they put on their hats and jeans, had some coffee and some beans. Then they mounted up and hit the trail once again. It's a blessing They were tough, for the trails became quite rough, which occasioned them to quiet their horses' backs. But they struggled bravely on, very glad of Hawkeye John, who amazingly could still discern the tracks. With great doggoneness and care, they searched out the bandit's lair till they found the shack of Ben and all his crew. And then Rosie and her boys, being sure to make no noise, found a hiding place, then wondered what to do. Until until up spoke Utah Jim. You will all remember him. He's the one his friends considered none too bright, and they seemed inclined to sneer till they heard his neat idea for ensnaring Greasy Ben without a fight. He declared he'd bet his shirt one or other would get hurt if they used the normal method of attack. What they really ought to do was to take up a lasso and then throw it around the chimney of the shack. Next, they'll all tug on the rope in the optimistic hope that they'd pull the outlaw's shack into the pool. The boys thought this fantastic and waxed enthusiastic, for they saw that Utah Jim was no fool. So then Rosie kissed his cheek and declared he was unique.